Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mystic Tides Tarot. I will be doing the readings for all of the fire signs for the month of January. Those signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius in that order. As always, timestamps will be down below. Hello, Aries, and welcome to your reading for the month of January. I will be using this Archetypes Oracle deck as well as a tarot deck for this reading for the month of January. It's been a while since I've shuffled this deck, so she's not very friendly right now, but she is willing to do the work, she told me. Mentor. You will notice also, or maybe not so much in this card, but this card's a little yellow compared to the rest because this card was used extensively for other things apart from just readings, and maybe that's something that you need to hear for some reason. This is the mentor card, so maybe you've been seeking a mentor, maybe you wish you had a mentor all along, and you're maybe feeling that nobody's good enough. And it makes sense because you're Aries, right? Like, who can really be the one that's going to bring you the fire when you are fire itself? But in January, you may find someone that you look up to enough to maybe kind of try out as a mentor. And this doesn't mean that you actually step into this or any type of contract with this person or being. It's more of you're watching them from behind, like the blinds or curtain of some sort. Like, they don't really know that you're observing them, but you're kind of putting them through a trial basis to see if they're good enough to be your mentor. And like I said, this doesn't have to be a person. It could be a spirit of some sorts. So let's see what else we got for the month of January, because I feel like I said enough for that. King of Swords, the Star, Death, Five of Cups, the Hierophant. Yep, definitely mentor energy here. Ten of Cups, the Emperor, Two of Cups. Okay, so there's a lot of cups here. So emotions are a big part of what you're going through in the month of January. But we also see a finality of some sorts. We have Death, which is like the obvious like finality card. You see Mother Kali right there. Then we have the Ten of Cups. In the suit, the 10 is the last of the suit. So it's like there's definitely an ending happening. It is going to have emotion tied to it because what endings don't? It's rare that they wouldn't, right? The Five of Cups is also telling me that it may feel a little more sad than it actually is. So maybe you had some type of an idea really linked to what this ending is. And because it's ending in a way that you didn't really see coming, it may feel uglier than it actually really is, because it's not as bad. Because the Ten of Cups is also this card of emotional fulfillment and joy. So it's kind of like this ending happens and you're kind of like maybe a little down in the dumps, or maybe shook by it a little bit and feeling a little more down than you really need to feel. And the Ten of Cups is kind of like telling you that there's going to be a really big jump between you having that mourning period and then you upgrading. And it's interesting because we have the mentor card, then we have the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is definitely a sort of mentor, right? He's a leader in his sphere. So it's like this Death is going to allow you to either really find out who that mentor is going to be for you, or allow you to step into a type of mentorship or mentoring yourself. And that is going to obviously come with some type of emotional fulfillment because it's something that you've been seeking, or an energy that you've at least been playing or contemplating with, right? And in the beginning, let's just go, because I'm going all over the place out of order here, which maybe is part of the reading itself. Maybe you had a specific order in mind as to how these events should take place, and it's not in order at all. And that may make you think that you're kind of being shortchanged, because since it didn't happen in order, you might think that those things that were out of order are not coming to you any longer. And that is not the case. So don't think that, okay? But we have the King of Swords and the Star Hope card, right? King of Swords is, and we have a lot of like masculine energy here. We have the Hierophant, the King of Swords, and the Emperor. These are very very action-oriented cards. Some would say masculine cards. It doesn't really matter. Whatever resonates with you is fine here. King of Swords is someone who is going to be the master CEO, the truth teller, the one that's going to cut through the bullshit, okay? And the Hierophant here is also someone who is someone that's going to teach. It's going to show more of spiritual truths as opposed to just like day-to-day or logic-based truths. Then we have the Emperor. This is someone who's also got that CEO energy, but he's like the one who taught the King of Swords how to embody that CEO energy, okay? So we have a lot of leadership coming through here. The King, the Hierophant, the Emperor, then we have the Mentor showing up here. These are all like really big leadership energies. The Star is, like I said, it's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the hope card. This is kind of showing you why, even though there is going to be a death, because technically the Star comes much after Death card, right? But it's kind of like trying to tell you that you might see some type of hope before the death comes through, or maybe during the time that this death is occurring. And you really need to hold on to that, because it's going to have this Five of Cups not be so, it won't feel like the cut is as deep. It won't feel like the wound is as deep, right? And the Two of Cups at the very end. The Two of Cups is a beautiful card, because I would say this is like the true Lover's card. Because a lot of times the Lover's card can symbolize something much different than just like, oh, these two people are like deciding that they're going to be lovers, right? It's deeper than that, and it's bigger because it's a major arcana. Whereas the Two of Cups is not to say smaller in terms of like it doesn't matter as much, but this is more of specifically talking on the emotional side of things. So it's an emotional partnership in a good way. This is someone that you're going to be able to have a relationship with, and maybe this is tied to who that mentor is. Maybe at the end of all of this, your mentor is going to be someone that you feel is strong enough of a leader to actually lead or co-lead with you in whatever journey or things that you've been working on for the month of January. So this is a lot. Like, this is a lot going on in January for you. And it's interesting because we're already a few days into January. So I don't know if you've already been experiencing a hint of what I just said, but it's definitely a union. A very strong union is coming forward, and it's not about you deciding whether you jump in or not, because you're going to see the signs that you need to see that are going to give you the confidence to take that leap. However, a death is going to come prior to that, and it may make you feel like a little down in the dumps, maybe in the middle, or maybe even still, maybe it's already happening now, but I want to say hold on to this hope, because this is for your greater good. And then you'll eventually step into like this beautiful energy, into this partnership with this mentor, whether they're a physical mentor or whether there's somebody you're mentoring even, because that's also possible. So Aries, this is the reading that I have for you for the month of January. I hope that something resonated. If it didn't, that's okay. Leave it behind, and I'll see you at your next reading. Goodbye. Hello, Leo, and welcome to your reading for the month of January. Let's see this card right here, the Crone. Oh, this is really interesting. Crone, beautiful. This is old energy, as in very wise energy. This is not someone or something or an energy that has no idea what's going on. This energy has been around since the beginning of time. And maybe that's something that you've been resonating with this month of January. You know, we think in January a lot about where we're going, where we're at, where we need to be, because all of this New Year's resolutions, energy, and people talking about it, and then content creators, you know, taking advantage of the time to create even more content about it. And I almost feel like you're kind of over it, but also it doesn't serve you, because you already been knowing where you're going. You don't need to feel this reset type of energy, because you've been focused and you know what you want. You're the fucking lion. I mean, come on. Okay, let's get into it. I already feel your fire. Very interesting. I didn't feel the same energy with Aries, which obviously that's to be expected. I should not be feeling the same energy, but it just still like baffles me how much it changes, considering we're in the same element, you know, fire signs. Okay. Okay, we have Five of Swords, Three of Pentacles, Knave of Pentacles, Knave of Swords, Three of Cups, Two of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. Okay. There's a lot of swords and a lot of pentacles here. Only the Three of Cups is like the outlier. And am I correct to say, yeah, there is no major arcana here. So this month, this goes with exactly what I was saying. Like, you don't need this like big reset. You don't need these like, oh, you need, I'm getting like all of like these words like kind of convoluted, but you're already on the path. And that's one of the main reasons why I believe that we're not seeing any major arcanas here, because there are no big things that you need to be aware of or that are going to be happening this month. You're still cruising and smooth sailing from the stuff that you've been knowing that you're working towards already for like, if not at least a month, I want to say maybe the last 3 months even, or maybe even longer than that. But let's get into the actual cards and see what they are saying for January. So we have the Five of Swords, Three of Pentacles, Knave of Pentacles, Knave of Swords. Okay, so Knave, FYI, are the pages. And the pages are like more of this initiatory beginning stages energy. We have it for the Pentacles and we have it for the Swords. Now, the Pentacles is more of work, health, money matters, and the Swords is like mental, mind, communication, right? And we have a lot of Pentacles and Sword energy here. So there's a lot of things happening in regards to like your money, your business, and the way that you communicate, the way that you're communicating with it and or about it with others. Okay, so that's kind of like the overarching theme here. But Three of Pentacles, Five of Swords, these are cards that involve others. The Five of Swords is kind of like a card where there might be some loss. It may be yours, it may not be yours. But the Three of Pentacles is telling me that this loss is going to still put you in a place where you can work with people that are like-minded. So maybe this loss is not really as bad as it may seem at the time that you're going through it. Maybe you already went through it since we're already in January. Because we also have the Three of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, Three of Cups. Three of Pentacles is collaboration and work with people. But the Three of Cups is celebration and with people, right? So it's kind of like you have community around you. You're not alone. So this could be people that are working for you if you're like someone who has a business, or it could be people that you're working with, collaborating with to help each other in your businesses. Then we have the Two of Pentacles here, Eight of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. So there's a lot of court cards here as well. We have two knaves, and then we have the Queen and the Knight. There's a lot of people involved and around you during this time, or maybe just all the time, I'm not sure. But the Two of Pentacles here and the Eight of Swords here. Two of Pentacles is a card kind of like, you could say it's of choice, but the main message is juggling of things. So maybe you're juggling a little more than is comfortable for you, or you've been doing it for a long time and you're just kind of wondering, when is it going to end? Because the Eight of Swords is also a card of you're feeling a bit trapped, like you may not have the answer, right? But Queen of Pentacles right here is someone who does have the answers, and she's someone who's willing to help. She's a very nurturing type of figure. Now, this could be an aspect of you, or it could be someone around you that has this mothering, nurturing energy that is willing to help you with this juggling, because they've done it, because she is the queen of that suit as well. They've done that juggling, and maybe you need to share with somebody, hey, I've been going through this and I'm struggling through this. Have you been through this before? Do you have any type of tips or whatever? And that'll help you kind of like take off this blindfold that's keeping you from seeing the solution to the things that you're going through. And then here we have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is acting really fast, sometimes without putting as much thought into it as you really should. So I feel like this Queen of Pentacles is going to be someone that's going to really be able to help you and guide you, because this Queen of Pentacles is actually this crone. The Queen of Pentacles is this crone that you may not have known was near you all along. And she can serve as a sort of mentor for you, not because they have what you want, or they know everything that you don't, or they did everything you want to do, but because right now what you're going through with this Two of Pentacles juggling is an area of expertise for them. And we want to avoid you making rash decisions, right? And she can help you with taking off this blindfold so you don't jump into these rash decisions. Also, this Knight of Swords can be an indicator of what happens once you get that knowledge from her. It could also mean that you're able to make decisions quicker without so much risk involved. Okay, so this Queen of Pentacles, that's kind of like what you really need to try to find. You know what? I kind of want to pull a card on who she is. Like, who is this Queen of Pentacles for my Leo? Who is she? I'm feeling this card. How interesting. Knight of Wands. Another court card. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people around you, a lot of people involved, a lot of people's energy involved in what you do. Maybe also, if that's not the case, it could be that your business or where you work is serving a lot of people. And this could be like any type of a corporate job, but it could also be like a restaurant. It could be a business where you're selling products or you're selling a service that deals with a lot of different types of people. Now, this Queen of Pentacles, who is she? The Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is someone who is not afraid to let their passions lead. They're not afraid to be fiery as well, just like you. So this is someone that you already like. This is someone that you already like. This is someone that maybe you've worked with in the past, but you're not as close, or maybe you're not as close as you'd comfortably like to be able to ask them these types of questions that I put out for you. But I'm telling you right now, if you take that first step, and you know how to take first steps because you're bold, Leo, if you take that first step to ask feedback or communication, or like maybe how they've dealt with situations similar to yours, it is going to pay off majorly. And it may not feel like this is a big deal because it's not super hard to do these things, but it is like stacking your wins, because January doesn't have major energies, but it's building up to something that's pretty big. So that's what I have for you for the month of January, Leo. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in your next reading. Goodbye. Hello, Sagittarius. So for the month of January, now I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. I didn't tell any of the other piles, but I actually picked, oh wait, let's see what you got for Oracle card. The Eternal Child. Interesting. Okay, so I actually picked this tarot deck because of you guys. Okay, but shh, don't tell the other piles. So we have the Eternal Child as the Oracle card that showed up for you guys. The Eternal Child. In this deck, the Eternal Child is referring to someone who has this childlike energy, this childlike innocence. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but it does warn you against being too close to harm due to the fact that maybe you're trusting a little too easily. Now, I'm not trying to warn you about anything, but if the shoe fits, let's see what we got for this month. Six of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, a lot of Pentacles, Two of Wands, oh, the Death card. Aries also got the Death card. The Lovers, I was just talking about the Lovers too. Leo, even though they didn't get the Lovers. King of Cups, and I feel like pulling this card as well, which is, I think, one more card than I pulled for the others. Seven of Cups. Okay, so let's get into this. Six of Pentacles, the first row. We have Pentacles and a Major. The Six of Pentacles, this is kind of like giving and receiving. It also symbolizes equality. And then we have the Justice card right next to it. And then we have the 5 and the 7, which 5, 6, 7. So something about balance, something about order and equality is going to happen during this month. And maybe this is something you're seeking, or maybe this is something that is paid to you. I'm getting the keyword karma. Now, you don't have to accept the word karma if it's something you don't even believe in, which is totally fine. But balancing the scales is coming up for you. And when I see the 5, the 6, and then the 7 of Pentacles, even though they didn't come out specifically in that order, which tells me that things have been disordered for you for a while, it still tells me that we're getting close to wrapping things up in a cycle. The 7 of Pentacles is the one I'm going to focus on the most, because the 7 of Pentacles is the last card in this row, also in that cycle and in the order. 7 of Pentacles being this card of putting in this effort continuously and still feeling like you're nowhere near where you want to be according to where you expected you should be because of that effort you've been putting forth, which is also why the Five Pentacles precedes it. The Five Pentacles being this card of, okay, things are really not feeling nice right now, and things feel discombobulated, and you feel like the scales are tipped against you. But the Seven Pentacles reminding us that work is still being done. You're putting in the work, and Spirit is helping you put in the work. You're not alone, but work is not finished, and it's nowhere near finished. And maybe this is something you need to hear this month, because either you're sick of it or you feel like it should have already been over. And this is kind of like this message of telling you, hold on. Whoa, I almost burped right there. It's kind of like this sensation of being fed up to the point where you do want to throw in the towel. And I'm telling you, don't throw in the towel, because things are going to hit a nice balance for you eventually. It may happen this month. It may happen in the beginning of the year, within the first 3 months. Okay. Now at the bottom row, we have the Two of Wands, the Death card, the Lovers, King of Cups, Knave of Wands, Seven of Cups. So I'm going to zoom into the major arcana first, which are these two, because those are the two bigger energies. And I kind of like centering the messages around those, because the majors are going to dictate the bigger things, the bigger events that happen, as opposed to the things that help shape that, the day-to-day, right? Which would be the minor arcana, the court cards. So Death, there will be some type of an ending coming up, whether it's in the work sphere or in regards to this situation here that has been feeling like it's not going to end. I'm telling you, hold on tight, because it is coming to an end, and it's going to be an ending that's in your favor. The Death card is just a confirmation to that ending. And maybe it also has to do with the way that you viewed things. Maybe you had a very beautiful, ideal view of the way that things were going to be, and they didn't turn out to be that way, and it's kind of crushed your child, your inner child. And that's okay. It's not the end of the world, but it is up to you to communicate this to that child of yours, your inner child, because you are that inner child at the same time that you're also that inner child's parent. And this isn't to victimize the child either or coddle the child. This is to show the child how you turned out and how that person is a great parent to that inner child. This is an opportunity, right? And the Lovers is kind of like saying that that's a choice. That's a choice that you can make. You can choose to make this relationship that you have with your inner child, with your little version. You can choose to make that a relationship of empowerment and strength, and even give it a story of victory, or the complete opposite. And that is a choice, a really big choice, and a really important choice for you to make this month. And I think you already know what I think you should do. But at the end of the day, it's not me, it's you. So you get to make that choice. And that's a very also empowering thing, but it also could be something that's a bit scary, because it does mean that it's going to also be the ending to who you used to be, because you're going to be walking forward with this different type of relationship between you and your inner child, or between you and little you, however you want to see it, because at the end of the day, who we are now was vastly dependent on how we were raised and who we were born into being, as well as where we were born into, like the family, the environment, etc., etc. Now, moving on to the minors, we have Two of Wands here. Two of Wands is like the planning that happens before you set the ships to sail, right? The planning that happens before you decide, okay, these are the moves that I'm going to make so that I can finally become that entrepreneur, if that's something that you want to do. Because there is a cycle that's ending in regards to work and or health, and the balance is going to be tipping in your favor. So planning is going to be involved, and maybe you can start planning now as to what that can look like. And maybe that excitement is going to help you hold on, even though it's not feeling the best, because it's telling you to hold on until this ending happens, right? But like I said, that ending could have something to do with the way that you're parenting yourself, the way you're parenting your inner child. Okay. Moving on to the King of Cups, the Knave of Wands, Seven of Cups. the King of Cups, this is someone who's not afraid to be creative. This is someone who is going to be expressing themselves and even showing their emotions, but they're not going to be, you know, bleeding all over the place with everything that they're going through. The Knave of Wands, this is someone who's younger in the journey. This is someone who's passionate and whose passion is going to keep driving them forward to keep moving in a direction that they think is favorable to them. And this isn't a good thing. I'm sorry. I meant to say this isn't a bad thing. Oh, that's weird. I think it's the direction that the Knave is facing is like throwing me off because it's facing the King of Cups. So it's making me feel like the Knave is walking towards the King of Cups. And maybe this is something that you're aspiring to be. Maybe you do want to be able to express yourself and your emotions without feeling shame or guilt, because that's something that a lot of us feel, right? And the only way that you feel that you can do that is by maybe riding a wave of fire, a wave of passion that you all of a sudden feel because of that. That's interesting. This is a really odd message. Like the energy that you have is like this childlike wonder and excitement, but also kind of like a little bit fed up and then like really hot and fiery. Like my face is really hot right now. And my fingers are really cold. So it only like, there's this contrast. And maybe that's also why I said that opposite of like, this is not good. This is good. Okay, that's very interesting. I also see with the Seven of Cups that there is a lot of, it may feel a little confusing for you for a little bit during this month because there are a lot of choices, a lot of things that are getting put forth towards you. And yeah, I'm feeling like a lot of this like confused energy now. Oh, that's so interesting. I want to pull more cards because I need some clarity on this. So I want to make sure that this choice that you're making with the Lovers is actually tied to the inner child work and it's not something else, because there are going to be a lot of different options that you have or choices to make. And it's just giving me this like confusing energy. Six of Wands. With the Lovers. Six of Wands. Six of Wands is a card of victory. So that's a yes. So the Lovers choice, the choice that you have to make, is definitely tied into the eternal child. Now let's see what this like multiple options is about, because that's what started the confusion. Actually, the confusion started here, but I feel like it's because of the Seven of Cups. So what can we do for clarity? Of course, we get the Wheel of Fortune. So Wheel of Fortune, this is probably one of the most, it could also be a confusing card. You know, we talk about, the fates. We talk about choosing between, are we going to ride this wave or are we going to try to fight it? Because we're going to end up going through cycles in our life. We're going to have certain times where we're on the rise and everything seems going great. And then we hit a peak. And before we know it, we're going down and we're sinking into something that feels less than ideal. And before we know it, we're in a place where we're tired and we're feeling that the end is not near and we still have all this work to do. But the wheel continues to turn. So when you're here, if you hold on just a little longer, like I was saying before, it will continue to rise again. That's interesting. So the Seven of Cups has a lot to do with maybe a lot of options that you see as an exit strategy when you're trying to get out of this. And this is kind of like the Wheel of Fortune is telling you, you need to stick it out. Once again, you need to stick it out. There's something that you're contemplating of letting go, and it's telling you to stick it out because you will win if you do. And maybe that's why that planning card came out. Wow, the energy is so like, all of a sudden it got so hot and confusing. But I think you got the message, because I feel like the message was so clear, talking about the eternal child / the inner child / little you, however you want to call it. And there is a lot of wins for you in this spread. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop the reading there because I don't want to muddy it up with more cards right now, because it's already been confusing towards the end. I hope that this doesn't turn you off in any way. I feel like you're a very creative and fiery individual, and this message made sense to you. But for me, it kind of like tossed me to the side for a bit. But it was still a pleasure reading for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this message was useful, and I will see you in your next reading. Goodbye.